looks like we are looking at the weather for Chicago. Chicago right now, at the moment, is getting hit pretty hard. Um, for so right now, what we're looking at is some severe weather in Chicago and Indiana. Indiana has a tornado warning. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right now, what we're looking at is a tornado warning. We have a tornado watch for Indiana. Yeah. Let's go back to our radar. Frick. Right now, what it looks like is we are getting some lightning strikes. By the way, this is at 3:43. We're looking at some pretty good damaging wind gusts. That's not good. He's not answering. Yeah, he didn't answer. Oh, that's really weird.
It's not just about for yourself. Were you hurt in a car accident and it wasn't your fault? Contact the Ken Law Office now.
3 new monitors coming in. We got our monitor stand. We're gonna have a big upgrade and whatnot, but that will definitely help big time. Appreciate you, Austin. I thought you were trolling. Appreciate that. Hey, you Taz for the $5 super chat. Yeah, I mean, there's again, this tornado watch is pretty large today, and this one goes again until 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, again, a few tornadoes are likely in this area today. We already had 1 tornado warning. We'll probably have more. Also, another damage report where that first tornado warning was in Walworth, Wisconsin. Do have a report there of a large tree branch and leaning power pole near intersection of Highway 67 and County Road B. So, new report there up that direction. Waco, maybe some isolated wind or hail. That's probably about it for Thursday in Waco. Maybe a brief tornado. New severe thunderstorm warning near Maryville or Merrillville and as well as Portage. Just east of Gary. That is for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Again, that's moving northeast right now with lots of lightning. Siv, hopefully I answered your question. You said the same thing 3 times. I've noticed a pattern. Whenever my mom goes out of town, a tornado decides to show up. Interesting. Thank you, Austin, again. I appreciate the help. I didn't know that. My mind is officially blown. Wait, it's the bottom right. It's this right here. The high-res reflectivity. How concerned am I about St. Louis tomorrow? I do think tomorrow is going to be a little bit more concerning. Also, another severe thunderstorm warning now south of Milwaukee for 60-mile-per-hour winds. But I am a little bit more concerned right now about tomorrow for, let me go back to the outlook here, but I think really the greatest concern tomorrow will once again be kind of in this area here. So Missouri, Kentucky, Indiana, southern parts of Illinois. I think tomorrow is going to be a bigger day than today. I don't think today is going to be a big day, but there will probably at least be, some tornadoes out there, which again, that's why you should stay weather aware. We'll probably at least have a few tornadoes, but I think tomorrow will be a bigger day. And I do expect probably at least some sort of severe weather outbreak tomorrow with very large hail, damaging winds, and then tornadoes being possible with, again, strong tornadoes being a possibility. The Storm Prediction Center did mention again that there could be an upgraded risk here somewhere, but the hatched tornado risk goes from Springfield and Jefferson City, Missouri, back into northern Tennessee and even into central and western Kentucky. So it's a large area that we are going to be talking about here for tomorrow. So obviously, if you're anywhere in the risk outlined area tomorrow, you want to make sure that you're staying weather aware and having multiple ways to receive alerts and have a tornado action plan in place because tomorrow's probably going to be pretty hairy. Again, we'll be live here on our channel, so make sure you subscribe down below if you've not already. And we'll keep you posted with the latest for any big stuff that happens tomorrow. Because I do think, again, tomorrow will be one of the bigger days when it comes to severe weather. But yeah, I've been saying it since literally, I think Saturday or Sunday. I think Monday and Wednesday will be the biggest days for severe weather. And I still think that's true. I don't think that's changed. Tuesday, Thursday, which is today and Thursday, I think we will still have some severe weather. Could be a little bit more significant. But I think the greatest concern, once again, would probably be, Monday, Wednesday, which yesterday was Monday, and then also for Wednesday. Billy, I don't have any updates on the Hennessy, Oklahoma storm. Unless you're talking, if you're talking about the Barnsdall tornado, Barnsdall tornado, that one has been at least preliminary rated EF3, from what I've seen on the National Weather Service of Norman's Twitter page. Steve, there's a chance for tornadoes anywhere in Indiana today, but again, it's not everybody's going to see tornadoes. Again, the statistical probability of you seeing a tornado is very low, but the reason why it's concerning is if you do get hit by a tornado, it could cause, some significant damage. So you want to make sure that you're staying weather aware. I can't really predict a certain city's tornado probabilities. It's just, it just wouldn't be. Mathematically, you have within a 25-mile radius, either a 5 or 10% chance somewhere in that ballpark. So. No problem, Dominic. Appreciate the $9.99. I think Chicago overall will be mostly wind and hail. Oh, we do have a little bit of rotation near Spring Prairie. That's why I just circled here. It's in southeast Wisconsin. We're going towards Oak Creek and eventually Interstate 4194 here soon. It's on track to go towards, I believe, Milwaukee. Yeah, it's a little bit on track to go towards Milwaukee. So I'm going to watch this very weak couplet closely. Do the lakes add fuel to the storms? The lakes are pretty cold, so not really. Actually, more than anything, the storms that go over the lakes should be a little bit weaker, like this one here. I don't know what the water temperatures are now. I know before they were pretty cold. Let me check here. Yeah, the temperatures like on the lakes right now are still relatively cold, and they're going to be like that year round pretty much. But right now they're like in the 50s, maybe low 60s, so it's actually not nearly as favorable there for severe weather, which means that overall the environment just wouldn't be as capable with the lakes. The lakes don't really add much value, though, in this sort of instance, which is why Michigan doesn't really get much when it comes to severe weather this time of the year. Even though you're in the risk, it's lower, and it's primarily for any storms that are going southwest and northeast from Indiana into Michigan. It's not usually the storms that are going west to east from, Chicago, for example, into Michigan. Sometimes they re-intensify in Michigan, but, they're weaker usually over the lakes. That's at least from what I've seen over the years of covering Michigan. All right, here's the latest scan. Yeah, it's really not much. It's pretty weak rotation. Even if it was rotation, it's weak. So even if we got a tornado, it would be pretty brief. But mostly a wind threat right now heading through Burlington. Got kind of a little Boeing segment developing here. And that's moving right now up to the northeast. It'll be going towards South Milwaukee and as well as Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Again, the main concern right now is damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. Peter, I don't really know. It depends on where you're going and when. This weekend. Oh, sorry. Okay, I see. This weekend, I'm not expecting anything big. Actually, good news. I think after Thursday of this week, we are done with really significant severe weather, at least for about 5 to 7 days. I don't think we're going to have much next week, which means I'll be going on vacation because I need a break. I'm going to be golfing with my family at some point next week. So good times. I'm excited for that. But we'll still have videos, just for the record, next week. But yeah, after Thursday of this week, we are likely done with severe weather for a little while, at least significant, multi-day severe weather events. It looks quieter next week. Elizabeth, most of Indiana is in the 10% hatched area. Once again, even if you're not in the hatched area, I don't know what county that is, but if you're anywhere basically here, that's the wrong map. Here's the tornado risk. If you're basically anywhere in Indiana today, you're almost all in the same risk outline from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, I wouldn't get too caught up in the colors. I think all of Indiana has an equal chance of seeing tornadoes. So obviously, make sure you stay weather aware, have multiple receive alerts, and have a tornado action plan in place. And my vacuum just turned on. You gotta be kidding me. Let me tell my robot vacuum to go shut itself off. This has happened, I think, 3 times now in live streams. For those that are wondering, my vacuum's name is Chewbacca. Right, go back to your home, please. I just heard this beep boop bop thing happen in the background. I'm like, okay, that's the vacuum. Usually I'm not around when the vacuum goes off. Yeah, you can't hear the vacuum. It's not that loud. It's a shark robot thing. Yeah, you guys can hear it. Yeah, I mean, this microphone doesn't really pick up much, so. All right, it's going back. Don't worry. It sounds sad now. It's going back to its home. All right. New SPC update. Is there a new one for today now? I don't know if it changed at all. Here's the latest Storm Prediction Center update. New mesoscale discussion across eastern Illinois and a large chunk of Indiana. Once again, this entire area has the potential for additional supercells forming in the late afternoon with an increasing tornado threat here in Illinois and Indiana. So it's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. The latest update from the Storm Prediction Center still has the 10% hatched area pretty much in the same exact area. Okay, I don't know if you can hear the vacuum, but it's deciding to blaring sound when it picked up absolutely nothing. But yeah, this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. But the tornado risk today, I don't know if you guys can hear the vacuum. I'm just going to stop talking for a second. Okay. All right. Did you guys hear that? I don't know if you guys could hear that. All right. That's not a tornado siren. That is just my vacuum making obnoxious sounds. All right. This is the risk for today. The latest update. Again, it's still a hatched tornado risk, which means, again, a few strong tornadoes being possible in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. Okay. You guys could hear that. All right. Fantastic. Sound like a tornado siren? Might have to get Chewbacca, just make tornado siren sounds in the background. Yeah, it self-empties. But yeah, again, this is the hatched area, has not changed in the latest outlook. The wind and hail risks are actually not that high. I mean, it's, they're not enhanced. The only reason why we have an enhanced risk today is because of the tornado threat. So otherwise, we do have a slight risk that was just added to Austin and San Antonio for hail later today. So that's the only update really from the Storm Prediction Center for today. I'm still watching the storm near Rochester, Wisconsin. There's at least some broad circulation here. So we're going to continue to watch that as it moves northeast over the next several minutes. My apologies. That was a blaring vacuum. All right. The vacuum needs to go outside. I know. I just showed the new mesoscale discussion a moment ago. All right. We're going to stay on the storm for the most part for now because it does have a bit more of a tornado potential here. So we'll keep a close eye on that as that continues to move northeast. And once again, if you do need a weather wrap for today, there's going to be plenty of storms out there. And if you need to stay ahead of the storms, you can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below. It does come with a ton of features. For only $8.99, you can get a bunch of features like the live cameras, the storm chasers, the live radar feed, and all that sort of stuff. Bunch of features on the app. There's also computer models and satellite imagery that you can get for one of their subscription-based features if you want to get that. But again, you can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. I do appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. But obviously, a lot of you guys have Radar Omega, and probably can highly recommend it as well. But it is an awesome app that you can get here on iOS and Android. And also, one of my favorite features is they can actually track out storms and where they're going. Fun stuff. I love doing that. You can actually do the timing for all these storms too. It's not too hard to do. Just got to put in the miles per hour on how fast the storm's going, which you can get from a severe warning on its own, or you can just kind of guesstimate it and do the math on it as well. All right. Thank you, Everest, for the $5 super chat. Cleveland shouldn't see much today. Again, mostly a wind threat, but maybe an isolated tornado threat somewhere there in northern Ohio. I think the risk will be low, though, up there. Risk should stay low. Yeah, we got some of these discrete cells that are beginning to pop off now in northern Indiana. Again, if any of these mature and become organized, a more elevated tornado risk would come out of that activity. And then we got more of those back down in southeast Illinois that are trying to fire up and, get going. And nothing super significant here quite yet, but, down the road we could get something. Looks like we got some rotation actually near Stewartson. That's just north of Effingham. So we got a little bit of rotation here that is moving to the east, northeast. So we're going to watch this storm closely as well. There's Connor today. Connor is not going to make it today. I thought he was, but he's not going to make it today. He was not able to make it for the all-nighter. Connor is taking today off. Yeah, Connor would have had to do an all-nighter to get there. And so he wasn't able to do that. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is a little pocket of rotation that is developed on a discrete cell north of Effingham. There's at least something here. This is really our only radar site view, I believe. Maybe this one. A little bit of rotation there near Stewartson. I think these storms, again, there's definitely a tornado potential, but it might take just a little bit of time to really get going. But we are entering into a bit more of a favorable time frame here for tornadoes to be more possible over the next few hours. Brandon Kopic did. Yeah, Brandon got there like way early. Like he was already in northeast Oklahoma like last night when that tornado happened, while everybody else was still over in the Oklahoma City area. So he is a fast man. What about Dayton, Ohio today? Yeah, the main concern is just going to be wind, maybe an isolated tornado or two. There is a strong tornado threat, obviously, so make sure that you're staying vigilant and weather aware. But again, I can't really predict if you're going to see a tornado today. Just again, it's a possibility anywhere in your area, but oops, I'm going to do that. Yeah, still there's some circulation there. We're going to continue to watch that closely. That's again north of Effingham. And we're going to go back to the Wisconsin storm real quick. That circulation near Waterford and Rochester doesn't really exist anymore. It looks like we got a pretty large hail core developing though on this. So possibly upwards of $1.25 to $1.5 sized hail falling near Waterford and Rochester, moving northeast towards Franklin and Oak Creek and Big Bend, Wisconsin. So if you're in those areas, again, continue to stay away from windows and also protect your vehicle today if you've not already done so. Thank you, Frank, for becoming a Velocity member. By the way, I do want to throw this out there for those that are wanting to pick up a Drunknado t-shirt. Again, I'm just going to throw it out there one more time. The link's in the description below. It'll also be in the chat. But we do have our Drunknado t-shirt now on shopmaxvelocity.net. For those that were wanting one, it is now here. That's what it looks like. Well, not with the black circle in the middle, but that's the design. You can pick it up again. The link's going to be in the chat. We've sold a ton of them, which I was shocked by. So I do appreciate anybody picking one up. Links in the chat. It's also in the description below. Yes, there is a tornado watch once again until 8 p.m. Central or 9 p.m. Eastern, depending on what time zone you're in here. Pretty large area. And we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be near Terre Haute. That is going to be for quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Let's check out the velocities. It's like a little bit of spin there. Not much, but there's at least a little bit of it's not really rotating yet, but there's a little bit of spin trying to develop near Marshall. So something to watch for as it goes towards Terre Haute. That is, again, a brand new severe thunderstorm warning here near Terre Haute and Route 41. Also, thank you, Katie, for becoming a Velocity member. By the way, we're 80 members away from 1,000 members. So I really do appreciate all of your support. It's a pretty crazy number. From Janesville, Wisconsin. Hope you're doing good, Cynthia. Yeah, Janesville doesn't look too bad today. I think Janesville will be all right. If you got any storms, it would have to be relatively soon. And I just don't see much happening there in the next couple of hours. Pretty low risk overall. The vacuum wants to be included. I'll have to bring the vacuum on stream sometime. Show it off. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Again, we got a broad area of circulation right now near Marshall. Does have a hook as well. So if you're in Terre Haute, just stay vigilant. And not an imminent tornado threat, but there is a little bit of something there. Probably more of a wind concern right now. But again, we are in an environment where any of these storms that do even have a little bit of rotation could become a bit more concerning. My microphone is falling over. And the face cam is falling. Okay. Fantastic. I don't know what's going on with my microphone stand, but it's not working. I'll have to hold up my microphone temporarily. Oh, it's officially fallen off. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, our microphone stand is broken. All right, I gotta try to fix this. This is not good timing at all. Okay. We officially don't have a microphone stand. It has now fallen onto the ground. We have technical difficulties right now, so please stay tuned. I need to put this microphone stand back on. Rip to my microphone stand. It literally just fell off. That's fantastic. All right, give me 1 second. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. This thing is like so heavy. All right. Let's put it like that. Nope. All right. I'm glad we have technical difficulties that revolve around my microphone stand. That is like, this is horrendous timing. All right, I'm trying to move my thing here. All right. Okay. I think we're a little bit better now. I need to put the microphone back in now. This is what happens when you buy a mic stand off Amazon. It's like Wish.com quality. All right, I think we're better. All right. Sorry about that. I love microphones falling off. Get duct tape? No, I don't need duct tape. It's just the stand wasn't tight enough. Okay. That was some work. All right. By the way, thank you, Carla, for the $40 donation. I appreciate that a lot, Carla. Thank you very much. Dinner deliveries on me tonight. I appreciate that. I'm getting Culver's tonight. If we're live anywhere past 8 or 9 tonight, we'll be getting Culver's. So that's the plan. PDS mic warning. Pretty much what just happened. All right. But we're back. We're good. Microphone is being held in there. This is a Shure microphone. It's actually pretty good. For those that have been here for over like 4 months, you probably remember the old microphone. It kind of echoed a lot more, I think. This one sounds better quality. Next time mute. The problem is I can't mute my mic either. Unless I do it from OBS, because it's like locked for some reason. Otherwise I have mic like sounding issues if I don't have it locked. It's really annoying. All right, let me zoom back out here. Thank you, Crispy Bacon, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. We'll be getting cheese curds just because of you. All right, let's go back down to Terre Haute again. We have a little bit of circulation right now near Terre Haute. This is near Marshall and Ernest, moving just to the east-northeast. It'll again eventually be approaching Terre Haute. So if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning, just continue to stay away from windows. Just in case this does anything funky. But again, tornado threat not really increasing quite yet. It should increase a little bit more down the road once these storms again enter a bit more of a favorable environment. The storm up here in Wisconsin is kind of crazy, though. We got a large hail core and everything right now, just south of the Waukesha area, approaching Milwaukee in the next 15 minutes or so. So that storm's still pretty impressive. It'll be moving towards Milwaukee. Lots of lightning, by the way. Make sure if you're, in Milwaukee or any of those areas here in Wisconsin, stay indoors. Don't try to go outside because there's a lot of lightning in the vicinity with this particular storm as well. Technical difficulties banned the stream. We have technical difficulties all the time, but I'm hoping with this new computer it'll kind of be resolved. Waukesha, close enough. Waukesha sounds very fancy. Just like Bolivar. You're here last night for Bolivar, Missouri. Thank you, JD, for ordering a shirt. Appreciate it. Should arrive in like a week. Our merchandise usually gets there in a week or two at most. Ships out really fast. It's not fancy. I think it's fancy. Waukesha. The good news is I don't think we're going to get any severe weather in Waukesha, so we won't have to say it anymore. But just south and east of Waukesha going towards Milwaukee. Got wind, lightning, and as well as hail. Right now the hail is probably around quarter size on this storm north of Burlington. This would be your hail core. It's either a lot of hail or potentially some large hail because there's definitely a definitive CC signature here, which would represent the hail potential here. That is right now moving to the northeast, going towards Milwaukee. But yeah, once again, it's definitely a lot of hail there, but again, it might not be super large. It could be like quarter to $half sized hail moving northeast. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Terre Haute, Indiana. That is again on the storm that is relatively small right now, but is going to be approaching Interstate 70 going towards Harrison and Terre Haute. So if you're in this warning, again, continue to stay in your safe place. If you're in Terre Haute, just stay away from windows. Wind and hail could, potentially be wind driven going into windows. So definitely want to make sure that you're staying away from windows if you're in that warning. You're Terre Haute. I need Julie for the $4.99. Anything for DFW tomorrow? Maybe isolated hail, brief tornado, but that's about it. Let me quickly go through the timing again. I didn't really finish it before. Hopefully we can actually finish it this time. All right, let me go through the timing here. Zoom back out, go through the timing guide for the next few hours. Give you an idea of when you can expect storms approximately here across the Ohio Valley. So this is what it looks like right now. This is right about 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Again, we got some discrete cells that have begun to fire up. Nothing significant right now, just some isolated hail and wind for the most part for now. But as we get closer to 4 o'clock, storms will continue to ramp up more. Again, we're really watching primarily for anything that's discrete. So, the HRRR kind of shows a few of these different storms that are discrete. Once again, they could be anywhere, but this is just generally where they're putting them right now. Any discrete supercells will have an elevated chance for a tornado with a strong tornado threat existing, maybe a couple of strong tornadoes. By 5 o'clock, that area of storms goes right through Indianapolis near Bloomington, continuing to move east and northeast over the next several minutes, or over the next hour, sorry, not next several months, over the next few hours, closer to 5 to 6, they'll move through Indianapolis. And then eventually by 6 to 7 o'clock Central time, those storms will continue to move throughout most of Indiana. We'll have a couple of storms possibly behind this, but that risk should stay low. Michigan, I'm not expecting much up in here, but the main concern will be wind, isolated hail, and then maybe an isolated tornado or two. But I think the risk overall, again, would be on the low side of things. If you're back over in Michigan, I think mostly wind, hail, and then maybe an isolated tornado. By the time we get to 7 o'clock Central or 8 o'clock Eastern time, this is what it's going to probably look approximately like. We'll have storms still across central Michigan, a couple storms near Detroit. Again, mostly wind, hail, and maybe an isolated tornado in Michigan around 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. And then further down to the south, any discrete cells in here that line up from eastern and central Indiana back into western Ohio will have a more elevated tornado risk. So really right now, the best chance I think for tornadoes is from 6 p.m. Eastern until about 9 p.m. Eastern. This area being one of the main corridors for that threat from, again, eastern Indiana back into western Ohio, near Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Dayton, Bellefonte, and Lima. By 8 to 9 o'clock Central or 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern time, those storms continue to move eastbound. We'll continue to have plenty of storms out there. Strong to severe storms continuing back over closer to areas near Cleveland as well. Mostly wind up that direction. And then anything that can maintain just being discrete or semi-discrete will still have a tornado risk around 10 o'clock tonight near Dayton, Cincinnati, as well as back through Louisville. And then eventually by 11 o'clock, those storms continue to move south and east with mostly wind, but a couple tornadoes still being possible. And that tornado risk could even include some areas in central Kentucky as we go later into the nighttime tonight, so closer to like midnight or so, and eventually into the overnight hours. My plan again for today is probably to be live through the main tornado threat through about 9, and that'll probably be about it unless we need to be live longer. Once again, my voice is, it's not bad right now, but knowing with how long we're going to be live again tomorrow, it's going to be kind of hard to be live for more than 6 hours today. So my plan right now is to probably be live for approximately 6 hours, maybe a bit longer if needed. And then we'll probably, end it after that. But yeah, we need a little bit of rest at some point after today, because it's going to be another busy day today. And then tomorrow is going to be much busier. And then going into Thursday, it's also going to be another busy day, it looks like, or at least somewhat busy. So a lot of live streams coming up. Yeah, there's no way to predict warnings. There's just no way to predict warnings. So, ahead of time, maybe like within like 25, 30 minutes, there's definitely a possibility, but like you can't predict warnings 6 hours out. I can't predict you're going to get a tornado warning in Dayton, Ohio. It's just not something you really can predict. What I can say is that there is a probability, which is around a 10% chance within a 25-mile radius of a strong tornado near Dayton, Ohio. Statistically, that's what it is. The watch will be extended east almost undoubtedly later today. Once again, storms are not going to be in here in southeastern Michigan or eastern Indiana or western Ohio, probably at least for at least a few hours. So there's not going to be any sort of watch here until storms are closer by. John, any severe weather in Pennsylvania should be just wind. So, if you're in Allenstown, again, maybe just some wind possibly today or, maybe even on, I think Thursday you might be under the risk as well. But I think the risk should overall be pretty low. We still have a hook on this storm that's been developing. And not really much rotation right now, but it is a storm that we'll have to watch for as it approaches Terre Haute with a low tornado risk over the next 30 minutes. I think we'll have a better shot once that develops more down the road. Had a little bit of rotation north of Effingham, but that rotation's kind of struggling still. And then the storms in Milwaukee are really the most impressive right now, with mostly a wind threat, with perhaps a little bit of hail as well. So that's the main concern right now. Thank you, Bone, for becoming a Velocity member as well. I cannot believe you don't drink coffee. I do not like coffee. I've had lattes before, but that's basically it. Otherwise, it's a no-go. What are the warnings in West Virginia? I think the only stuff that we have over there are special weather statements, and those are just strong storms. It wouldn't be an actual warning. Just some strong storms over there with gusty winds and small hail. I don't see a tornado risk coming out of this near Milwaukee. Just for the record, it looks like all wind at this point. So if you're in Milwaukee, just be prepared for damaging winds up to 60 and maybe some hail, but that should be about it. New Kaz to the $5 super chat. I don't know how you pronounce that. Okanawak, Wisconsin. That's definitely not right. I don't know where that is, but if it's basically the only storms that we're looking at from here on out in Wisconsin that are severe are primarily this activity here. So if you're anywhere in that circle I just drew, again, hail, wind being possible, maybe a bit further up here to the north, near the north of Sheboygan. But otherwise, it's a pretty low risk. We got some storms behind this with lightning and small hail and gusty winds, but again, it's just not much. Not really significant severe weather by any means in those areas.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Okay. We have a new tornado warning near Michigan City. This is not really a storm we've been looking at for a while. This storm is going to be right next to Michigan City. That's a pocket of rotation right here, just to the west of Springfield in Indiana. So if you're in this warning, Again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Once again, that is a brand new tornado warning here near Michigan City, going towards the Michiana Shores area, just west of Springfield in northern Indiana. We definitely have some pretty significant hail out of this storm. Probably $1.25 sized hail, maybe a bit larger. They actually have this warning for golf ball sized hail, so probably some large hail right now near Michigan City. But the tornado warning itself, once again, would just be here around Michigan City, just south of that, and it'll be approaching the west side of Springfield, Indiana, and eventually going towards the Michiana Shores area. So once again, seek shelter immediately. Interior room of your home or building, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible if you are in this tornado warning. Michiana, thank you. Yeah, so Michiana Shores is included in this. I don't know if we have any other radar sites nearby. Let me check. I don't think we're having another view on that. Well, that's a pretty good view too. But that would be your rotation right there. It would be right over the south side of Michigan City. Pretty clean hook echo as well. We're a little bit in a radar hole, so I don't have a great view of this, but best view we have is from the radar site north of Warsaw. But that right there would be your couplet that we're watching for. So that rotation's right over the downtown area of Michigan City. So if there is a tornado, it would be dropping right now in Michigan City and eventually moving towards Long Beach in Michiana Shores. And again, in northern Indiana, right next to the Great Lakes. So we'll be moving towards, eventually going towards New Buffalo, Grand Beach down the road, and Union Pier. Those will be the next areas in the track of this. You're still a little ways out, but that'll be the next area in the track of this down the road. Of another radar scan in a moment here. If you're a student in this, a brand new tornado warning in northern Indiana near Michigan City, Long Beach, and Michiana Shores. Yeah, this is our only tornado warning right now. We got a bunch of other severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of them not super significant. This one will probably end here in a few minutes. Large hail core for sure right now in the storm as well. We got a ton of hail falling right here. It's probably in the ballpark of ping pong to golf ball sized hail moving towards Long Beach. By the way, thank you, Garrett, for the $45 Venmo. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Sorry, I missed that. Appreciate your generosity. Let me quickly zoom out here and track this out. New radar scan should be in here in about 30 seconds, but this is the track of this storm right now. Let's get an ETA on this real quick. It's 45 miles per hour moving northeast. So here's a little ETA for you if you're in front of the storm. Again, this is an approximate timeline. I have to redraw it because the warning, this radar just updated. This is an approximate timeline though on the storm moving to the northeast. So again, we got Trail Creek right now and Michigan City right now. So you got to be in your safe place if you're in those two areas. It'll eventually go towards the Long Beach, Ambler areas in about 5 minutes. And eventually down the road, Gordon Beach, Union Pier, Tree Oaks in about 15 to 20 minutes. Bethany Beach in about 25 minutes. New Troy in about half an hour. And Snow in half an hour. Derby in 40 minutes. So all those areas be weather aware. Long-term, Oxbow, Berrien Springs, and Baroda and Stephenville will be in the track of this in approximately 3/4 of an hour or so. Here's the latest scan. I'm not seeing nearly as much rotation on the latest scan, but again, we'd be looking for that potential for a tornado on the northeast side of Michigan City right now. It's moving towards Long Beach. It's going towards Michiana Shores and eventually going towards Grand Beach. It's on track right now to go towards New Buffalo as well. And eventually towards Union Pier and Lakeside. It's basically riding right along the lake here. So that's the general direction of where it'll be going. Obviously, if you're anywhere in the pink polygon, continue to stay in your storm shelter, your basement, your closet, your bathroom, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. But pretty impressive storm on radar nonetheless. I'm looking at Terre Haute on my phone, by the way. Thank you, Chili, for the $4.99. We don't need a new mic stand. We're good. Hopefully, or we actually might have to get one down the road. Hopefully, this one lasts a while. I mean, I literally just got this mic stand. That rotation near Terre Haute, by the way, is beginning to intensify. That could get tornado warned too. Let me go back down to Terre Haute real quick. have a little bit more rotation on this storm in the last couple of scans. There's your rotation. Wind's going toward the radar, wind's going away from the radar. Again, there's more rotation here for sure. Just to the southwest of Terre Haute is where we're looking. The velocities are 1 minute ahead of the reflectivity, so it's a little bit off on the hook, but that'd be where we're looking for that potential for a tornado. Would be going towards the south side of Terre Haute near Sealyville and Harrison. Again, this is not officially tornado warned, but it is a pocket of rotation that we're watching. There's been rotation here for a few scans now, so it's at least a broad area of circulation. There's definitely something down the road that we could get a tornado with. We got another velocities update here in a second on this. Here's that latest scan. It looks pretty... I mean, it's definitely strengthening. So there's definitely rotation here on this storm just to the southwest of Terre Haute. If we look from the radar site on the other side here from Indianapolis, just for perspective, it is slightly broader. Just slightly, but there's definitely still circulation here. I don't know if this is an imminent tornado threat, but it's not far from it. So if you're in Terre Haute, Sealyville, Harrison, or the Fontenay area, just west of Stoughton, here in the Terre Haute area of Indiana, I would stay weather aware. It's not again an imminent tornado threat, I don't think, but we are not far from it right now near Terre Haute. So stay vigilant. Again, we'll continue to check in on that storm over the next few minutes. Here's the latest radar scan on the storm that's near Springfield and Michigan City. And the velocities don't look crazy on this storm to me. I mean, we're not really seeing much, but if there is a tornado, it would be northeast of Michigan City, approaching Michiana shores and eventually going towards New Buffalo. So those would be the next areas in the track of this as this continues to move northeast. But not super concerned right now about this. But obviously, again, if you're in the pink polygon, continue to stay in your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. You have another severe thunderstorm warning for those south of Milwaukee, by the way. That is for mainly wind. And most of the storms in Wisconsin right now are wind threats. And this one right now is more of a tornado and hail threat. See if there's any other reports here on Twitter. If you guys do see any reports, you can at me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Try to relay information here. All right, I'm not seeing anything new right now for these storms as of right now. By the way, Tucker, it's not Illinois, it's Indiana. Just for the record. I don't know if I accidentally said Illinois. I deleted the post, though. It's fine. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Velocities will update here in a second. Again, if there is a tornado or anything like that, it would be approaching Grand Beach and New Buffalo. They have not continued the warning quite yet, but we'll see if they do. A rotation would be entering here into southwest Michigan here in just a moment. Just south of Benton Harbor. If there is, in fact, a tornado, which, again, we don't really know. But if there is one, it would be approaching New Buffalo. All right, here's the latest velocity scan. Again, not really seeing anything definitive here. But if there is a tornado, it would be moving right into Grand Beach or New Buffalo. But I